New Super Luigi U is considered to be one of the hardest 2D Mario games of all time, up there with the Lost Levels in terms of difficulty. Not only is the game's level design meant to challenge even the most seasoned of Mario veterans, but it also has an intentionally slippery game engine, making turns less snappy and jumps much harder to control. But let's face it, it's 2023 and just beating a video game by itself isn't impressive anymore. Heck, if you go onto YouTube right now and do some poking around, you'll find all sorts of challenges for pretty much every Mario game out there. Well, every Mario game except New Super Luigi U. Perhaps this game has been forgotten about, overshadowed by its big brother, New Super Mario Bros. U. Perhaps this game was too hard for people to even attempt challenges on. Perhaps most people didn't even know this game existed. Whatever the case may be, I wasn't about to let this game get lost to the sands of time, so I made it harder. That way you, the YouTube viewer, can enjoy it in 2023. Or whatever year you might be watching this in. How? Simple. By turning it into a Nuzlocke. Now, if you saw my Nuzlocke video on New Super Mario Bros. U, you might know what's coming. But for those of you who don't, let me explain. In the Switch release of New Super Luigi U, the game is essentially unaltered from its Wii U counterpart. The levels are the same, the engine is the same, the story is the same, everything is the same. Except for one thing. Unlike in the original version, when playing alone, you're not just restricted to playing as either Luigi or Nabbit. You now have the freedom to play as Toad and Toadette as well. This means that in a playthrough of the game, you can freely switch who you play as at any point simply by pausing the game on the World Select screen. Now I know what you're thinking. Raysfire, what does that have to do with a Nuzlocke? Simple. Much like a Pokemon Nuzlocke, my goal is to beat the entire game from start to finish before running out of characters to play. Fall in a pit as Luigi on the first stage? Well, you better hope Toad came to play. Run out of usable characters? Game over. Try again. Oh, also, to make it more challenging, I'll also be using only a single Toad, seeing as the game groups both the yellow and the blue Toad together. And I won't be using Nabbit, because that goofball is just a dang cheater. Also, I'll be banning the use of the crown power-up when playing as Toadette, as well as avoiding all baby Yoshis. This means that I'll only have 3 lives, 3 chances to make it all the way through one of Nintendo's hardest platformers. Is it even possible? Probably not, but that doesn't mean I'm not gonna try. Now, I'll admit, I could have prepared for this much more than I did. I had played through Luigi U for the first time in a few weeks prior, and that was it. However, I had been playing a lot of Kaizo and Mario Maker, and I had recently been attempting this challenge in the game's brother, New Super Mario Bros. U, so I went in feeling fairly confident. That was a mistake. My thought process was this. Nintendo levels can only be so hard, and I was already doing harder stuff in Super Mario Maker, so how would this even be a challenge at all? But there were 2 things that I hadn't taken into account. 1, the physics, and 2, the enemies. For whatever reason, my brain had made the assumption that because I was good at one game, it meant that I'd be good at another, which couldn't be further from the truth. Loading up on day 1, I took some time to hash out the rules with my stream and then dove in. The run started off well, with Luigi flying through all of World 1 with no issues, and then I got to World 2. On the second stage of World 2, I had a bit of a close call in this dark cave level covered with piranha plants and moving platforms, but made it through mostly okay. Okay, one sec, I'll get to that in a sec. I kind of have to focus on the game just briefly here because this is scary. I am fearing for my life at the moment, please understand. Whoa! Okay! Alright, maybe cutting it a little close there with that one. Woo! I chalked this up to nothing but a bit of early game nerves though and pushed onwards. But almost instantly, I was punished. Since I had lost my power-up in the previous stage, I started off the next level as Small Luigi, which normally wouldn't be a run-ending problem as there's typically a power-up towards the beginning of each stage, and this one was no exception. However, due to lack of level knowledge, when I went in for the power-up, I wasn't ready for this guy to drop down and turn back on me, who swiftly took me out and caused me to lose one of my 3 lives not even 20 minutes into my first run. And when I play with them, I have a lot of fun. Oh, Grold! Oh my god, dude. The early Groll death? I didn't expect that guy! Hit me with the mix-up, dude. What? Are you kidding? That's alright, though. Surely Toad will do much better. Shish Kebab Tower. Whoa! Oh! Oh, no, dude. I pushed jump, But the problem was Toad was too floaty, so he wasn't on the ground yet. Okay, maybe not. Not even halfway into World 3, Toad 2 got taken out due to a lack of level knowledge on Shish Kebab Tower. This meant that if I wanted this run to go the distance, everything now fell on Toadette to not only complete the rest of World 3, but Worlds 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 as well. While this did seem quite daunting, previous challenges have shown me that Toadette is more than willing to clutch up when needed. And this run was no exception. Picking up on Shish Kebab Tower where Toad left off, she swiftly made it through the first section, dodging the first few skewers with no issues. This meant that all she had to do now was make it through this middle section and then... Oh, what the heck, dude? Okay, that did not go very well. What the heck? Just absolutely demolished. Okay, so maybe this is going to be harder than I thought. Fortunately, the night was still young, so there was still ample time to get another run going. Surely that first run was just nerves getting to me, right? Well, maybe not. This time around, Luigi didn't even make it to the same stage he had previously, with Toad dying only a single stage later. Just to win. No! Oh, crap, dude. I thought I could wall jump that. You can't wall jump that? Are you kidding me? Okay, fine. Oh, God. Dang it, dude. Realizing how much further I had to go with only a single life, I made the decision to reset there. The next few runs went similarly, until the final run of the night. Luigi had a promising start, making it all the way through where the first run had ended, Shish Kebab Tower, on just a single life. Unfortunately for him, on the level that followed, Haunted Cargo Hold, a bit of greed to skip the red coin ring for a better power-up, combined with a lack of air control, made for an unfortunate and easily avoidable death amongst one of the mini boo rings in the level. Crap. You know what? It's okay. It's okay. The run is not in shambles. It's definitely not great. I would have liked to keep him alive longer, but it's okay. It's alright. Picking up the torch where he left off, Toad took over and delivered a very strong performance. Not only did he finish all of World 3 for the first time, but all of World 4 as well. The gameplay is looking crisp right now, guys. The gameplay is looking very nice. As I was out of time for the night, I decided this was a good stopping point. It wasn't going to be easy, but at least this run had some promise. It wasn't nearly as good as day one of my new Super Mario Bros. U Nuzlocke, but at least it was something to work off of. Coming back a week later, my brain was struggling to readjust to a challenge of this sort after some time off. While I was picking up some steam on day one, trying to pick up a run cold is always a struggle, and as a result, Toad took an unfortunate death after only a single stage, a pretty far cry from the performance he was providing for the first day. No! Crap, it didn't even matter! I got Toad in the pit, man! Didn't even matter if we went into the Bramble. Okay, not a good start here. We got one level down, already took a death. I'm not well adjusted. But we are on to Toadette. This is our final person. Maybe we'll have a Toadette carry. I don't know. We're gonna try, though. Picking up where he left off, we had the final member of the trio, Toadette, taking the reins. While I was beginning to warm up to the challenge after a few levels, I was pretty worried about my odds. In my new Super Mario Bros. U version of this challenge, Worlds 5 and 6 were real thorns in my side, and I expected that to carry over to the Luigi U version of the game as well. However, despite that, I was slowly knocking out stage after stage in World 5. Maybe we'd actually make it all the way through World 5 on my first ever run to make it this far. All I have to do is get through this Moai level and... Whoa, look at this guy. Oh, what? You can get crushed by that? I didn't even know you could do that. Okay, so maybe World 5 is going to be an issue after all. Still, I can't be too upset. This was the furthest the run had gotten to by a long shot, so as long as I keep creeping forward run after run, then we'll get through this challenge quick, I'm sure. Honestly, that run was just a warm-up anyways. Now that we have that out of the way and I'm feeling back on my game, we can move on with the real attempts. This run started out solid, with Luigi absolutely crushing it the first two worlds and making it past Shish Kebab Tower in one piece, one of the biggest problem points of day one. However, right after finishing what I consider to be one of the hardest stages of the challenge so far, this happened. No! Crap. Gotta be careful. Oh, dude, I hit up! What? Now, hold on a second. Didn't this clip appear earlier in the video already? And like that was when he was new. Crap. You know what? It's okay. It's okay. Somehow, despite already dying in the same exact way just a few days ago, Luigi allowed history to repeat itself. When will he learn? After Toad fell to a similar fate just a few levels later, all of the pressure once again fell onto Toadette. It's okay, we still have Toadette. Toadette has to do the rest of World 3 and then all of Worlds 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I'm sure that'll go well. I mean, what's the worst that could happen, right? Crap! Dang it, dude! Okay, let's just do a new run. Get me out of here. What the heck was that? Okay, so this run wasn't even close. Clearly, my mindset wasn't right and I needed to make a change, otherwise I don't know how the gang would ever be able to make it through the whole game. That's when I had an idea. A reverse run order. You see, in a typical run, I'd typically save Toadette for last. The reasoning behind it was pretty simple. She was easier to control in the air, she was easier to control in the water, and she had more time to accomplish each level. Heck, the game even lists her as easier in the character select screen. But I quickly learned that not everything is always as it seems. By changing to someone with completely different physics, even if they're technically easier to control long-term, it throws off any muscle memory that I might have had built up by using Luigi and Toad just before. Also, one of the biggest benefits to using Toadette, her crown power-up, wasn't even allowed in this challenge, which means that in some cases, using her was actually worse. As in places where I'd normally get a higher tiered power-up, like a fire flower or an ice flower, I instead got something I couldn't even use. So, by using her first, just maybe, it would allow the other two characters to pick up where she left off and go the distance. I wasn't sure if it'd be useful or not, but seeing how poorly these runs had been going up till this point, I figured it was at least worth a shot. After deciding to make this change, I took a bit of time to fiddle around with Toadette's movement, and then back into the grind we went. Starting with Toadette felt wrong in a lot of ways, as for the first half of this run, I was convinced I was on my last life fighting for survival. But by the end of World 2, the voices in my head had finally calmed down, and away we went. World 3 went smoothly with a few close calls and some of the usual problematic levels. Oh my god, the jukes! The jukes, dude! Did you see that? That was crazy. But before I knew it, I had made it to World 4 unscathed. Maybe there really was some truth to this whole reverse order thing after all. However, just as I had let my guard down and was feeling totally in control of the run ahead of me, a mistimed spin jump turned into a quick takedown of Toadette in the middle of World 4. Still, I really felt that I was onto something with this new strategy, and maybe with Toadette out of the way and a large chunk of the game already done, I could carry out the rest with Luigi and Toad without having to worry about a shift in game physics or useless power-ups. Unfortunately for me, that wasn't the case. The wrath of World 5 was too much, and once again, I lost both of them and the run as a whole to the same set of levels that's been haunting me since the very beginning. No, dude, I pushed jump! What? Dude, I swear I pushed jump. I pushed the button! Alright, that's not very good. Toad only survived a couple of levels. We're now behind pace. Wait, that was the door! That was the door, dude! I jumped off the dang cliff! What the heck was that? Well, I thought I was onto something great with the reverse character order. Clearly it would take more than a simple change like that to help a run go the distance. Maybe I'll hold on to this strategy and bust it out again in the future, but for now, back to the drawing board I go. On day 3, I decided to return back to the norm. The reverse order was fun, but it didn't seem to have much of a noticeable impact on performance, so I just considered it as more of a gimmick rather than an actual strategy that would actually help me out. The first run of the day was nothing special, with a bit of a collapse on Shish Kebab Tower in World 3 once again. But then on run 2, something amazing happened. I didn't die. My man Luigi was on a roll and was crushing level after level with no issues. On the final stage of World 4, Bowser Jr.'s airship, he finally had a bit of a blunder. Oh, nice boomerang, bro. Oh, crap, dude. It's okay, it's not all bad. We got halfway through with Luigi. Bring back the blowed. But it's okay. Out of all the runs that I'd done so far in this challenge, that had been slowly sucking my soul since I began it, this was the first one where a single character had survived for basically the entire first half of the game. Sure, I've had runs get to World 5 on Toad before, but that was after he had already been worn down from having to pick up the slack from Luigi dropping the ball time and time again, so he wasn't coming in fresh. Today, he was like a different man. Coming in, he was starting his journey on World 5, and if I didn't know any better, I'd say that World 5 was nothing more than just his playground. He did have a handful of close calls, but he was absolutely rolling. In less than 30 minutes after he entered, Toad was walking out of World 5 and into World 6 for the very first time completely unscathed. But he didn't stop there. Barreling into World 6, Toad's reign of terror continued as he crushed level after level. There was a brief period of concern in the middle of World 6 when fighting the Sumo Bro, a boss that terrorized my new Super Mario Bros. U Nuzlocke runs, but even that was no match for him. I need a power-up! Can I get a power-up? Oh no, that's not good. I might be boned here. Just keep our cool here, gotta keep the cool. If he jumps down here, we're good. Nice, got him on the combo. Nice, I was ready for that. For the first time in what felt like ages, we were making progress again, and in a big way. Now, in my head, I have always seen Worlds 5 and 6 as harder than Worlds 7 and 8, so as Toad rolled out of Roy's castle and headfirst into World 7, I could see the finish line in my head for the very first time. Heck, at this point, there's a chance I might be able to finish this whole run with just Toad, not even needing my last life. With my head and Toad in the clouds, the run continued onwards. For the first portion of World 7, everything was looking great. However, as Toad neared the halfway point of World 7, Stone Crush Tower, I was snapped back into reality. Despite having a name like Stone Crush Tower, I really didn't think that there was much for me to worry about here. I knew that the boss of this level was just a simple Magic Koopa fight, so I went in with my guard down. Bad move. Right at the beginning of the level, I misread where I was supposed to go, and in an instant, I was crushed. Talk about an accurate name for a level, jeez. While this rattled me a bit, I did still have another life, and with only a world and a half to go, the odds were in my favor. Switching over to Toadette, I did my best to adapt quickly to her changes, and before I knew it, I was out of Stone Crush Tower and back on track again. Slowly but surely, the list of remaining levels began to dwindle until all of a sudden, the only thing standing between myself and the finish line was World 8 itself. With World 8 only having 6 levels total, I knew that this would be my best shot. So, taking a deep breath, I loaded up the stage and away Toadette went. I could tell my heart rate was elevated here as I tried my best to clutch it out, but for one reason or another, I couldn't manage to shake those seeds of doubt that had been planted in my brain. And in an instant, it was over. And then I died instantly, of course, dude. Alright, pretty good run. Made it to World 8. Pretty solid. I was crushed. My chat tried to cheer me up, but I knew that I had floundered the perfect opportunity to go all the way. While I was happy with getting so far, there was a part of me that wondered if I'd ever be able to make it back here. Day 4. When I attempted this challenge in New Super Mario Bros. U, Day 4 marked the end. The day where we accomplished the impossible. Would the same be true for New Super Luigi U? Well, based off of this first run, probably not. I'm gonna go for an early nut. Okay, well. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. This is not the run. Reset it. Go again. Go again. Not playing it. It's not worth it. That was a hand warmer. However, as I was in the intro for run 2, I noticed something. Well, look, the Toad head is very sponge-like. It absorbs the impact. Dude, oh my god. There's something wrong with me. Hold up. Hold up. I gotta show you guys something. My brain has been corrupted. Okay, wait. I'm gonna pause it. Whenever we get there. Dude, far left. The blue platform with the cloud? Sus. I see him, dude. He's chilling over there on the left side of the screen. Okay? What is he doing there? Why is he there? Who put that guy there? That's what I want to know. Maybe, just maybe, this was a sign. As I booted up the first stage, I took a moment to briefly pray to the Among Us gods that the crewmates above would watch over this run. And then we were off. This run was fairly predictable. Even though it was in reverse character order, nothing could stop Shish Kebab Tower in World 3 from claiming another run. That was really bad! I'm really not playing this game well today, dude. I don't know what it is. I can't do it. And all of a sudden, I was down to just Luigi and Toad with more than half of the game still left to go. Now, since I'd been grinding this challenge for a full month at this point, I knew what was going to happen next. I'd lose another character or two in World 5, and then the run would inevitably die somewhere later on. Still, I think there was a part of me that was praying I'd be wrong here, so I carried forward. And I'm not sure if it was the Among Us gods blessing me, but Despite an early death in World 3, this run was actually good. Toad took over and handled all of World 4 with no problems, and believe it or not, he even made it through the problematic stages of World 5. Having had only a few runs make it to the final 3 worlds at this point, I had begun to put my focus on World 6, when on 5-7 Wiggler Floodlands, Toad took an unfortunate fall.
That was bad, dude.
This meant that it was all on Luigi to carry. Now remember that I had been in a situation like this before, so I tried to shake it off and push onwards. Playing super safe through the remainder of World 5, Luigi managed to make it through cleanly and began to build up some momentum. With each level that passed, I could feel myself beginning to gain confidence as the number of remaining levels continued to shrink. Before I knew it, I was staring down World 8 and I was on the same exact level where I had lost it all on Toadette a week prior. At this point, I was going into the unknown. But with over 2 full worlds worth of confidence behind him, Luigi barreled into 8-1.
Don't die immediately.
I'm getting the vibes. I'm getting the vibes. Feeling out the vibes right now.
8-1 done.
While it was certainly not the cleanest stage in the world, he did manage to survive, marking a new all-time personal best. But the work didn't end there. My goal was to beat the game, not just beat my previous best run, so we continued. As the levels continued to escalate in difficulty, I could feel my heart rate once again beginning to rise, but Luigi handled them flawlessly, with stage after stage quickly getting knocked out. And then there was one. All that was standing before a completed run and myself at this point was an escape sequence with Bowser Jr. and then a final boss fight. Now, since the boss fights from New Super Mario Bros. U were unchanged in New Super Luigi U, this meant that all I needed to do was get through the trickier escape sequence, and then the final boss should be easy. Fortunately for me, with each level having such a tight timer, it couldn't be long. This meant that all I had to do was survive around 30 seconds of gameplay, if that, and I was essentially home free. Let's do this.
Rip, dude. Game over. Made it to the final world. Final level. That sucks.
Game over. With under 30 seconds of actual gameplay left before an easy boss fight to close out the run, I had been completely shut down. With very little experience of this game's final levels, I wasn't prepared for the platforms to fall in the way that they did, and after taking a daring jump forward during the escape sequence, even a few ground pound cancels weren't enough to save me. Still, I did make it to the final level, so I went ahead and played it out till the credits. It was bittersweet, but I figured that this would be as close as I'd get, so I might as well get whatever closure I could get before moving on to a new challenge. I mean, I'd spent a month on this already. It was about time I moved on to other things. Psych! Do you really think getting to the final level and coming up short would be enough to stop me? Maybe it might be for some people, but all that did was drive me further. Sure, I've spent over a month trying to do this. Sure, it's probably a challenge that no one else would even want to do themselves. But I had already made up my mind that I was going to do this till the end of time if I had to. Heck, I even had a recurring nightmare about the final level disaster leading up to today. There was no way my body was going to allow me to achieve a state of inner peace until this was completed. So once again, I returned to the Mushroom Kingdom. The first run of the day was fairly unassuming, a classic World 5 meltdown. It reminded me of the first few days of the challenge, and while in the moment it seemed like a far cry from how far I had made it on day 4, I could feel myself beginning to heat up. Dude, it happened again, are you kidding me? That's a tilter. That's a tilter. As a wise man once said, let him cook. The second run of the day was similar. The first half was fairly clean with no deaths, until in World 5, Luigi unfortunately had a spill on a familiar level.
That's bad. That's okay. Honestly, I'm not too upset about that because that was my first life and we're almost at a World 5, so... We're not using the blowed, though. That guy, he kind of beefed it earlier. We're bringing back McDonald's Toad.
However, this was where the similarity ended. Picking up where Luigi left off, Toad cleaned up the remainder of World 5, and outside of a dicey moment on this Sumo Bro stage in the middle of the world, had a clean World 6 as well, before dying right at the end of Roy's Castle.
Oh, that's so bad, dude. It's fine.
At this point, all of the pressure was once again on Toadette. In a way, this was poetic, as she had been in this situation many times before, both in the new Super Mario Bros. U version of this challenge, as well as a few days prior, when she had made it to World 8 for the first time in the run's history. But today was different. I'm not sure if it was because she was tired of these dang games and she just didn't want to be doing it anymore, or if the stress of being put into these do-or-die situations time and time again had enabled her, but either way, she stepped up to the plate. She crushed World 7, having no difficulty whatsoever, with the exception of a sketchy fight with Bowser Jr., and barged into World 8 with more momentum than I think any of the previous runs combined had ever had. Systematically, she took out stage after stage until once again, we were staring down the final level. Before loading it up, I took a moment to catch my breath and then pushed on forward. With only 30 seconds standing between me and the victory lap that was the final Bowser fight, Toadette barged in. Carefully but comfortably, Toadette pushed forward, jumping from platform to platform until, with just a few feet left to go, I could feel my heart sink as I knew what I had done. I thought that surely it'd be over, and once again I'd fall short with seconds left to go in the run. But somehow, through some miracle, Toadette managed to stall in the air just long enough to avoid touching lava. Making it through the door, and with only a single Bowser fight between myself and the end of the game, I took a minute to process what had just happened before heading into the end fight.
That was crazy, dude. What the heck? I was like, I gotta go for it. I have to go for it. If I don't go for it, like, it's over.
All that stood between me and the finish line now was a Bowser fight I had done time and time again. The first phase of the fight went well enough, so now all that was left was the 3 final Bowser hits.
Bop. I'm going for the BM. We're going for the disrespect. Can we get it? Dude, I'm hitting him so much. What the heck? How many times? I've hit him. I hit him like 50 times. Can you stop it? We've done it. BM. He's dead. 205-34. Disrespected. Get him out of here.
Just like that, and after over 20 hours and 5 weeks worth of grinding, it was done. While Nintendo games are usually easy enough to beat with no issue whatsoever, attempting this showed me that they're nothing to laugh at. Thanks for watching.